acknowledgement land that I'm on right now. So I'm in Wilmot Township, Waterloo region, which is the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas people. I want to acknowledge the importance of the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, a peace agreement made between Indigenous nations before the Europeans arrived. It characterizes our collective responsibility to each other and Mother Earth. We should only take what we need, leave enough for others, and keep the dish clean. By acknowledging this covenant in the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, we are reminded of our important connection to the land where we live, learn, and work together as a community. And we need to make sure that we are not only speaking with words, but we're speaking with actions. So in Waterloo region, there is the Indigenous Food Sovereignty Collective of Waterloo region, as well as the Healings of 7 Generations. And within my township, the Wilmot Family Resource Center, and they're always willing to accept any financial help or others if you can visit their websites. And I'm sure there are other organizations within your own territory. So I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that tonight before we started. So my name is Stephanie Gertz. I am one of the founding members of Waterloo Region Grassroots Response to the Ukrainian Crisis. I started out as just a collective need or overwhelming feeling of people in some of our community. I quickly whizzed together a volunteer form with tons of options for people to volunteer, with no organization or any thought behind that. Literally just put it out there, put it out to the world. Lisa was one of the first, and Neil were two of the first people that automatically responded saying, yeah, we got it. Let's start moving, doing something. So that weekend we started just kind of meeting and coordinating. Lisa was phenomenal and just starting to reach out to regional partnerships such as the YMCA in the region of Waterloo. And since then, it's just been a whirlwind. We are an absolute phenomenal grassroots community-led team. There is no real hierarchy. We action together. We understand what the problems are. We come together, we discuss it. The teams go out and work on things. So currently right now we have over probably 340 people who filled out our volunteer form because they want to volunteer with us. We have probably 8 or 9 different teams. So we have a volunteer management team, which is phenomenal. Jenny and her other volunteers on there. We have an information management team that's led by Marina. Again, phenomenal. We're using a new program come Monday, and she really spearheaded that, and it's been a really cool tool to use to bring us together, as well as Slack on our Slack channel, Slack program, which we started up about 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3. I'm not even sure anymore. 3. We have over 1,318 people on the Slack channel collectively talking. We also have our resource team that's led by Anna. She is coordinating all the resources and information together that is available for Ukrainians and host families, putting it together in an amazing document that we've also used our translator team to help translate that into Ukrainian. We also have our donations team led by Claudia. That's right off that. Very complex when you start juggling donations and kits and bundles and all the things that we're putting together to give to host families and the Ukrainian families when they come. Anything from clothes to food to hygiene products to kids' crafts to educational products to the youth and families. Then we also have Lisa, which is part of the housing team, or is the lead of the housing team. Not even advertising, just because we've got our stuff together. We have over 108 people who are considering or want to be hosts and open their doors. And we're starting to explore right now providing additional support to these hosts, and now start actually looking at how do we advertise this more out to the community, because those 108 people are just found us randomly, more so in a hidden folder that we have in a document that we're not really because we didn't know how we'd do the matching or what we would be doing. And then I want to say really good acknowledgement to the Ukrainian buddies. With Gotham and Nadia, would not be anywhere where we are right now and feel this connected to the Ukrainian community without them. They are such a dedicated, hardworking team Every single day I hear about, 3 or 4 new families that have filled out our intake form. So any Ukrainians that want to come into the Waterloo region area potentially, they fill out a whole form that we get all these details about them, about allergies and, how many children and age and families and language and other issues that they might have that host families need to know about. And, they automatically, as soon as that person gets the form in, there is a Ukrainian buddy. A Ukrainian buddy is someone who speaks Ukrainian and also potentially is from Ukraine. They're automatically matched up, and they automatically that day get an email back from our team welcoming them, figure out how we can help them. They're helping them with filling out their application process to come to Canada, as well as understanding jobs and employment, trying to find housing, understanding how OHIP works, how to get their kids in schools. There's a huge process they're undertaking as individual people. Then we have our partnerships team, which is Hans now is jumping right in there. So it's very exciting for that. And that's about reaching out to already existing organizations and groups in our community. And so either our team says they need something and the partnership team goes out and hunts for it, a partnership, a relationship to help with a need that we've identified, or we have requests from the community saying we want to help, and then we try to match up and try to find the best way that doesn't create more complexity, that we can actually work better together. Am I missing any teams? Oh, marketing communications, obviously, yes. Websites, social media, documents, press releases, you name it, they're on it. And it's, again, phenomenal team. And we've all done this through very kind of, spoken wheel kind of mentality. The ideas things need to get done, that collective team kind of wiggles around and figures out how it's going to be happening and how things are going to work. And then they kind of just get it done. And it's just, I've met so many amazing people along this way that I would never have met before. And I feel that there's so many people that have now taken steps in this new group that they might not have done before. And I feel that there's so many more empowered people in our community that now feel that they can take on the world together, right? Did I miss anyone? Lisa, did I miss any groups?
Yeah, you missed Stephanie Gertz.
Oh,
so Stephanie has been amazing, trying to understand what every team is doing and what our needs are, and giving us ideas and sending us resources and organizing these weekly events. And this wouldn't have started without Stephanie. So just want to put a shout out there.
Yeah, and actually should mention that as well. We do have an event management team run by Kelly. Amazing kind of thought process going through some of these events as each week we tweak and adapt what we're going to be looking at, as well as there's Leslie helping with the event team as well. And then fundraising. We're trying to look at fundraising opportunities for large scale and small scale fundraising into building up financials for our community and building it out so we can funnel it out. So I think that's about it. Does anyone here from any of the teams feel that they would like to provide an update to the rest of the general community of our group, or the general community, I guess?
Well, I think at this point in time, since I don't know what I'm talking about, I think my wife has multiple times told me that if I don't know what I'm talking about, I better shut up. But I will start to accumulate all of the efforts to date and give updates on a regular basis starting next week.
Great, thanks, Sam. Lisa, do you want an update regarding housing, hosting buddies, housing and all that stuff?
Yeah, sure. So I see Brenda Tithicot's on the call too. So Brenda, myself, and Dina have been working hard. We have this Waterloo Grassroots started when we recognized some gaps in the process of bringing Ukrainians over, and housing being a huge one. And then within housing, a gap of hosts don't necessarily have that sponsorship or circle of support that they might get during through other refugee channels or settlement channels. So our housing group is organizing what we call host buddies. So we have 16 solid volunteers that if a host just needs some support or isn't sure where to find something, we just want to connect people with other people in their community where they can work together, and within their relationship, they also have created, they've reached out to their resources, and so just keeps building and building. So that's something new for our team. We're just in the process of getting that finalized. And then also, as Steph said, we are now going to be actively looking for more host families. The Ukrainians are coming in quicker now, and there's more of a desperate need. Some people are actually are here without housing. So we're going to have a push. You'll see this week a lot of social media and advertising towards, you know, think about it, or if you have questions, I'm going to have a breakout room, I believe Steph said. So if there's anybody that has questions, you know, Brenda and I will be sitting in there probably, and feel free to pop in. Thanks, Steph.
Hi, thanks. Yes, and I also want to say that during our process, the region of Waterloo, YMCA, Kw Multicultural Center, MCC, Salvation Army, and all these groups, and all these churches, I would say, that have been absolutely phenomenal in helping us, give us advice, coaching us, as well as helping to prepare financial donations, open homes. Thank you so much, working with the housing open homes. Lisa, when I stop talking, you can have 30 seconds to say about open homes, because I think that's a phenomenal organization people don't really know about. But I also want to say that we have been inviting, the Waterloo Region Grassroots Response has been invited to sit at the task force, the region task force specifically focused on displaced Ukrainians coming into our area. So we're the only community group that I know is actually at there. We're sitting at the table with the region of Waterloo, I think MCC, Salvation Army, Kw Multicultural Center, as well as KW Foundation. So I think this speaks volumes to the action and the power of what we created and how we've been able to mobilize and have a presence and show that, you know, we have a number of resources and we want to get started and we want to make a difference. So I do want to say as well that we aren't looking to create a whole new not-for-profit or entity or organization. We do not have a bank account. We're not accepting money. You know, we are really trying to outsource as much as possible to already established organizations. It would be our end goal that in 6 or 8 months that we have created enough partnerships and enough resources, found the gaps, and helped other organizations and churches and groups to identify these gaps, made the right, built the right infrastructure that we don't need to exist, or that we move on to something else. So the idea is that not that we don't appreciate all the time and energy, but there's no point in duplicating things. And sorry, my kids are in the background, but as John Neufeld from House of Friendship mentioned, sometimes as people create new organizations and entities, it really stresses out the already established organizations. And that, we don't want to do that. We're not looking to tax or put more complexity into an already complex system. That's why we tweak and adapt so fast. We're able to pivot and meet the concerns and the problems that we're seeing quickly. But if we are able to inform the already established organizations and churches and other not-for-profits, we can help guide them to assure that they're adapting their programs and that they're applying for more funding from the government so that they can meet the needs long-term versus more in the short term. Thanks. Lisa, Open Homes.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. So Open Homes is an organization in Kitchener-Waterloo, and it's people opening their homes to refugees. Typically, they're tied with the YMCA, and YMCA reaches out for housing. Open Homes has helped us a couple times in our information, education meetings on hosting. We've had a number of their hosts come and share what that looks like. We've also had them with host buddies. They came last weekend to help us understand what supporting a host family might look like. They are also running free webinars. And I believe that link is available on our website. If not, it'll be there soon. I know that's the plan. So probably every month, I think they have 10 free webinars they're doing together with Hamilton Open Homes and just helping host families. And as Steph said, in 6 or 8 months, when this crisis maybe dies down, we're going to have a lot of host families that really found it rewarding to open their homes. And and they may continue on, and we could, you know, with open homes walking alongside us, it would be a really good transition to keep that partnership up. I can see myself still continuing in that role too.
Thanks, Lisa. Is there any other teams here? I'm just going through the names. Any other teams here that want to mention anything? I just see first names of people, so. Claudia, do you want to say anything about donations?
I have a very bad connection, so I might
Okay.
just be out in a second again, so we'll have to see here.
Okay. So do you want to provide an update, Claudia, on donations, maybe the type of donations you're looking for, and
Sure.
maybe how donations is going?
Sure. We have, I have posted a link on Facebook about our new donation page. We've decided to go a little bit away from item donation because there's too many others who already do it and can do a better job as that. There's Bev, who just opened up shop now next week, where people can go shopping. And then we partnered also with the Salvation Army, MCC, and the Children's Need Center for any other donations that are items, whether it's clothing or household items. They provide us with vouchers, which we then can go give to our Ukrainian families, and they can go shopping what they actually need, what fits. It gives them the freedom of choice. And we've decided to go that way. What we're doing is we're providing starter kits of all kinds. We have churches and organizations making them for us. This would be the welcome baskets, the hygiene basket, the household pail baskets, like a first cleaning set, and several others. And that's where we're concentrating our donation part on. And then we are looking for gift cards mainly for GRT easy-go fares to provide mobility to our families, and to supply them with means of getting what they actually need and can use. Because we found that they live in such small quarters with several people. To provide them with something that then goes unused does not seem to make sense to us. They don't have the room for it, and it's resources that then go basically to waste, because if they can't use them, well, they either try to give them back to us. That goes for clothing if it doesn't fit, or they get rid of it another way, and that doesn't seem to make sense to us. So we've shifted our donation part a little bit more towards the baskets, providing initial and then providing help in getting around and in being able to get food, to get whatever you need, clothing or whatever else in a different manner that gives you the choice to choose. So that's where we stand with donations right now. We have, as I said, partners, and we have partners in churches and organizations that provide us with those baskets right now. I think that's basically it for resources and donations.
Thanks, Claudia. I'm just trying to see, is there any other people from any other teams here? Again, I'm just looking through. Michael, are you Michael Dorochanko?
Yep, that's me. But I think you've covered most of it in the Ukrainian Buddies update. I'm just kind of collaborating with Gotham and Nadia as much as I can, and kind of covering for when one of them is away or something like that, and doing a bunch of stuff together with the Ukrainian community. But that is kind of not 100% related to this effort, but I'm always happy to share information here and there. So
yes, please do share. We're also allowing other organizations and groups to, after this, we're going to have the Kw Multicultural Center talk. So if you want to provide an update from the maybe what the Ukrainian Waterloo Region Ukrainian community or committee is, and you know what maybe some needs or issues or something you see.
Yeah, so I turned on my video. I'm hoping you can still hear me because my internet sometimes can be flaky too. So basically, from the Ukrainian community, I'm working with a bunch of people to organize a chapter in our region called a chapter of the organization called Ukrainian Canadian Congress, and there's a lot of these chapters around Canada. So I'm working with a lot of people on this. I'm hoping we're gonna get it done in the coming weeks. And then there's a bunch of, we have another person who has arranged this social club for Ukrainian families, newcoming families, and also established families here in the region to meet and greet on every Thursday, I think, different locations. And that kind of provides that kind of good environment for new families to kind of reconnect with the Ukrainian community here. And then like this coming Monday, we're going to have like a vigil near the church in Kitchener to honor, the victims of the horrible wars, including the one that is happening right now. And these events will keep happening, every few weeks, something new. And I will keep posting that stuff in the appropriate groups on Facebook and kind of notifying people as needed. For the challenges, I'm really appreciating all the work that the grassroots effort is doing. So far, I think no challenges from our side. I just keep talking to Stephanie, every day, not every day, but yeah, sometimes. And so I'm really grateful that we have your support in the Ukrainian community here. Is also very grateful to all your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Neil, I just want to give you a little of a spotlight from the Zion Church. And I'm wondering if you could give some experience of how your church has helped and how they've worked with us, because there's like 4 or 5 different ways that your church has actually been working with us.
That's interesting, Stephanie, because we work in teams at the church, and the teams are independent functioning. And so the only thing that I have been doing is just facilitating these Zoom meetings, and we can do that for Ukrainian families as well. So I know that others in the church are working in different areas, but I'm not up to speed on what each team is doing.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah, you guys have been doing fundraising, donations, helping the Zoom as well. So I think I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity just to say, obviously say thank you. You guys have been providing us their Zoom meeting each week, or, so it's been great. Thank you so much. Okay, so if there's no one left, last call for any of our team leads or team members that would like to provide an update or something they're working on, just for the general community and for the rest of us as a team. No? Okay, so then we're going to move on now to our next speaker from the KW Multicultural Center, and it'll be, is it Anna?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
And so the purpose of this is the government recently provided funding for immigration services to now take on immigration service activities for the displaced Ukrainians coming in. So Anna, I'm not too sure if you could provide an update on maybe why this wasn't done initially, so people understand the complexity of what had to go through to actually now be able to offer these services, as well as really updating the rest people on this call of what service you're now offering, so that even our group, this will be a learning curve, because we have been offering some of these services as ourselves, because when you guys weren't able to offer it, we were kind of stepping in, but now we need to be funneling as much as this is possible to your organization as well as the YMCA.
I mean, the purpose of the night is to do a presentation of the services that we provide. As when the government decided to bring Ukrainians under work permit, they were able to provide services that usually a person who comes as a temporary worker is not eligible for. Okay, when somebody comes as a visitor, but especially as a temporary worker, they cannot have access to services that are funded by the federal government. But in this case, it's just a special process that is happening, that they will be eligible. I think you know about all the services that they're eligible for, but they will be eligible for settlement services. It means that if they need some support regarding information, what they are eligible for, that will be in the settlement area, then we can provide services to them. Okay? If they need some support for employment, then we have, this is what I'm going to talk, we have a team that is working on employment for them. That they will invite them to a workshop, but I think I'm going to use our information there. Juan also join me, and we'll talk about the different services. And after that, I think I will open for questions. But as I said, this is basically, this is a totally new program with exceptions of the rules, no? Because I say temporary workers usually don't have those services. Okay, this is our logo. And then we go to the next slide. Juan, can you move to the next slide then? And this is just to present you our vision that this is how the Multicultural Center is described. We see an inclusive and safe community where every individual, regardless of immigration status, has equitable access to opportunities and resources to prosper and thrive in the community. No? And this is why, I mean, we try to support everybody, even though that they could be not eligible for services, but because we have this mission, we try to serve, or at least to refer people where they can have other services. And this is our three main, I will say, pillars, is that employment is one, settlement is the other one, and we have interpretation and translation services. Juan, do you want to talk about employment?
Hi there, everyone. So our employment team basically focuses on, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. They start off by doing a pre-employment assessment. They sit down on a one-on-one basis with one of our employment counselors, and they basically create a tailored package depending on the needs of the career that the individual is choosing to pursue in Canada. They also go through the pre-employment program workshops where they combine a group of individuals to come in and sit down and talk about things like resumes, interviews, information sessions, and networking, focusing on the idea of the first job in Canada kind of thing. The eligibility for the program before the, within the last 2 months, it was basically tailored to permanent residents, convention refugees, and living caregivers. But just like Anna Luz mentioned right now, it's relatively open for the Ukrainian population, especially the ones coming in under the Kw program.
So Juan, I have a quick question. If a Ukrainian professional with professional credentials which are not necessarily recognized in Canada comes to Canada and wishes to pursue a career within their field, let's say an electrician or a plumber, and then how is there a facility that would transfer or facilitate the transfer of those credentials into Canadian credentials so they can actually join the union and get jobs?
Yes, I am not part of the employment program, so I wouldn't be able to comment on specifics. But what we've seen is, in a situation like that, our employment council will sit down with the individual and they will research information about how that individual can have their education be validated to be equal to a certain sort of degree in Canada. They would make research about how they can go about if they need any additional schooling or any other credentials to be able to practice in any position or any regulated position in Canada. But that's something that our employment counselors will be able to dig in the one-on-one sessions.
And the same applies to people with medical degrees or psychology degrees?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically the purpose of this is what is called pre-employment, because it's to sit with the person and have a conversation with them. Also, what are the plans for the person? Because probably electrician, but they want to change to career. I mean, that there are funding available for second career. I mean, those kind of questions, they will sit with the person. They will also invite to a workshop that Juan just mentioned. And then after the workshop is more to talk about the Canadian culture regarding job employment. And then they will sit again with the person just to discuss the plan. I mean, what after being sitting in the workshop, what they are thinking about when they continue the same career, or what is the plan after that. But this is the purpose of the pre-employment. But also connected. I mean, if employers are sending information about work that they have, they also will connect the participants with the employees as well.
And would you also then steer those people with, so let's say somebody decides to get a Canadian license for, let's say now tuition, but doesn't have the required Canadian requirements, I guess. But there are community colleges who offer programs that are funded by the Ontario government. Is that included in the activity at all? I mean, do Ukrainians have access to government-funded community college programs for upgrades?
There are two ways that they can access to. One is, as I said, is a funding for second career. It means that the person already has a profession and they will want to change, they will be eligible for that one. I think it's $80,000. I'm not sure exactly, but it's about that one. And then also there are some $1.9 million for scholarship. Yes.
I'm wondering availability for your courses and stuff. I was just talking with an organization in Peel who's currently, I can't remember what it's, anyways, it's one of the major organizations helping refugees in Peel. And they said that currently there's a 6 to 8 week backlog in English courses in their area, in the GTA area. And I'm wondering about even your courses and workshops that you're doing. How much space is there, right? And how much capacity is there? And if there'd be a wait list, do you think, coming up soon?
I think for employment, we don't have that for now. At least there will be a number of people coming, but then I think we probably will be able to accommodate. We can have workshop in the morning because the workshop is short. It's 3 hours for 3 days. It's not a long workshop. I mean, I'm talking about the pre-employment, but they also provide workshops online. They can provide in the evening. I mean, they will be flexible to organize in order to accommodate the need.
Okay. And obviously this would only apply once the displaced Ukrainians are in Waterloo region.
That's right.
Do they need to show a resident, like an address that they're staying to demonstrate that they're living in Waterloo right now?
There is nothing that I think ideally, because they will have the work permit with them. And then, I mean, will be the surrounding areas, because I think all settlement organizations will be able to support with the same program, because all settlement organizations have this pre-employment program as well, wherever they will be settled.
Okay, thank you so much. Does anyone else have any questions?
And I believe that one of the most important things, I think that we can support it with employment. This is because I was in the meeting last week, and one of the things that they mentioned, there are employers willing to provide job, but how we can help in the transition, the person coming into the region in that transition to be employable as well. That is, I think, is very important.
So one of my questions, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. My question was about the employment workshops, if they are provided only in English, or is there an option to listen in Ukrainian for newcomers?
We have, I mean, the staff speak only English, but we have available interpretation available. Yeah, we have considered that one. We did have the same situation when the Syrian came, that we provide the workshops with interpretation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Then my question also would be,
yes,
so one of the things we're working through right now is people are reaching out to us saying, hey, I want to hire Ukrainian, I have 5 jobs, I got 2 jobs, I got this. And so we're creating like random spreadsheets and trying to capture all this information because we don't want to lose it. And these people haven't done the whole job applications through Indeed or whatever. Do we funnel them to you guys? Because we know
that will be ideal.
Capture that information.
That will be ideal, because then there is one place that can concentrate that information, because we are sharing also the information with YMCA as well.
Okay.
But yeah, will be ideal to have that one and then use those one resources. Because as I said, we don't want to lose them. Okay, and we have the Waterloo Region Connectors is the program that, as the name says, is to connect professionals with professionals. For example, if I'm engineer, then a newcomer engineer, then I will be connected with an engineer who is already working in Canada in order, first of all, to understand, the culture regarding engineering, but also the ways that they need to, for example, be part of the engineering association, and then possibly to connect with some jobs. But also this Canadian engineer also will connect the newcomer with another engineer. It's a very short time commitment, it's not a long time. But then that's the idea, is because one of the things that is lacking, as you know, is the networking. When somebody comes into Canada, we have lost, as a newcomers, we lost all the connections that we had before. And it's one way to connect, but it will be professionals with professionals as well. And we know that it's a number of people from Ukraine that will come with profession, and we can use also that. That program also was only for people who have permanent resident status and convention refugee as well, the employment, but now it's open as well for Ukrainians. For now, it's only for Ukrainians, but the hope is that if the government is able to open to Ukrainians, to open to other people, that we have equity here as well. Okay, Juan will talk about more about settlement.
So in regards to the settlement department, it's basically culturally and linguistically appropriate services. We have services in English, Spanish, Arabic, Tigrinya, Amharic, and we have also access to our languages and interpretation department, where we're looking to see to have people who can translate the settlement service sessions into Russian for the Ukrainian population. We also have our library settlement partnership, which it's extended between the KPL library system and the WPL library system for Kitchener and Waterloo, and we often have a settlement worker present at the library to have those one-on-one sessions with the client. We also have the newcomer settlement partnership, which is mostly providing settlement support in our main office. Again, it's the same sort of principle where we have those settlement sessions on a one-on-one basis for the individuals or the general public. Through our partnerships and our agendas, we also coordinate and organize group activities. So if there's a need in the community, let's say that the Ukrainian community is looking for information on how to write wills or power of attorneys, or they're looking for information on summer camp activities for their children, then we can organize group activities in regards to sharing information about those services and those benefits that are available to everyone in the community, and we can tailor them based on the needs of the clients that we see. I think the information that we've been sharing ranges from immigration, taxes, wills, summer activities, and even cultural activities as well. We have a refugee claimant specialist as part of our settlement team, and she primarily focuses on refugee claiming procedures and referrals. And we also have a commissioner of vote services for people that need to get that service for any kind of document. Is there anything else that I'm missing, Annalise?
I think you have covered all the services. I just to mention the difference between the library settlement partnership and a newcomer settlement partnership as well. Library is funded by the federal government. Newcomer settlement is funded by the provincial government, where we have less resources in order to provide services. This will be usually for temporary categories, but also Canadian citizens as well.
Yeah, a quick question then, perhaps as a last follow-up from my part. When Ukrainian people present themselves with degrees or certificates, is there a service that would certify those degrees and certificates as being authentic?
I mean, first of all, if they bring the documents in Ukrainian, we'll see. These documents need to be translated into English. Depends on what they want to use, the transcripts, for example. If they want to attend a school, then after the documents are translated, then they need to be evaluated by, could be ICAS, that is our office in, evaluation office in Guelph, or could be, there are other organizations, but one that is very known is WES. And then after that, they can use these transcripts to apply for college or university, depends on what they want, or for the association as well, no? That's the other thing, because the associations, they will ask for transcripts and diplomas that need to be in English. But first of all, need to be evaluated by ICAS or WES.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Oh, you still have more. Go ahead.
There is more, I don't know, I'm just concerned about the time. Otherwise we just.
No, what you're saying is very important. We'll give you some extra time, don't worry.
Because yeah, we have the conversation English program that is to support people to improve language skills, and is based on volunteers. All tutors are volunteers, and the commitment is 6 months. They will meet with the learner once a week for an hour and a half, and usually the meeting happens in a safe place that is for the learner, but also for the tutor. They can use the library, community center, and that's the purpose of the program. Fine.
We also have the Let's Talk program, which is a program that is targeted to youth between the ages of, let's say, 17 to 22 years of age. And it's primarily a mentorship program for youth who are planning to enter into college or university, or for those who are maybe taking a grade 13 and who are a little bit unsure about what career path they want to pursue. The Let's Talk program is an opportunity to both share sort of like guidance and mentorship towards a career path, and it's a program that is focused on art, and they can express themselves using art and different techniques and different styles of art, including painting, dancing, or theatrical performances.
Who are the people that tend to be the, I guess, your volunteers? Are they volunteers? Are they staff? Or how does people get involved in this to maybe participate in that as a support?
For the conversation or for the Let's Talk program?
Let's talk.
The Let's Talk? I mean, basically, the participants are youth who are involved in high school. And then we have the guest speakers that depends. There is a curriculum. It's a program of 8 weeks. And then each week they have different topic that we'll cover. And we have already the guest speakers. And sometimes the library will also do some the activities. We have the art gallery, depends on, on the topic we have the guest speakers, no? But we have a person from the center that is the coordinator of the program.
Okay. And so would there be a new program being coordinated specifically for the Ukrainians that are coming into our community? Or would they just join in with the other?
That's right. I think it's better because they will have the opportunity to meet with other youth, no? Yeah, and then we have the interpretation that I already talked a little bit about it, that usually service for interpretation are required by, I will say, some the community services. For example, if the person needs to go to apply for Ontario Works, then we could, Ontario Works will request the interpreter. And then if we are the ones that Ontario Works is working with, will dispatch the interpreter to Ontario Works. No? Just an example.
Yeah, and I think you're in order to be counted as an interpreter with your organization, it's a program that people have to pay, and it's several weeks to be registered as an interpreter with your organization. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's through the Conestoga College.
Yeah.
But because of the need of different languages, they are having a fast track program.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
In May. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
In-house, because usually it's happening at Conestoga College.
Yeah.
This is just a slide of some of the languages that we have, but we have more now that because we just updated new workers and the events that we have every year. When you want to talk about it?
So the Kw Multicultural Festival, I'm sure some of you have heard or have even been physically present into it, is usually happens in around early to mid-June each year. I believe that the festival is a go for this year, whereas last year was all virtual because of COVID. We also organized the Global Skills Conference that usually tends to happen in late winter, early spring, and it's a chance for foreign skill professionals to gather together, do networking, and take advantage of all the seminars and conversations regarding work search and employment. And also the Let's Talk Youth Conference, which is one of our newest programs in the center. It's tailored to most of the participants who have attended the Let's Talk programs within that year or so. And again, it's tailored to career and education, college, university pathways as well.
And the last one is just some of our sponsors and funders.
Well, thank you so much for presenting.
Just I want to give two information that I think is important is that next week we are going to have a new person working for us at the Multicultural Center. He's a part-time and we don't have a name yet. I mean, how we name the position, but he's a connector as well. She will be connecting settlement services with, for example, with your organization, churches, so everybody who is working with Ukrainian population to see what the needs are, how we can, for example, if there is a topic that they want to hear more about it, to know more about, we'll say, I don't taxes, so that we can organize information session on taxes. But she will be the connector, the center, and we are in the process to see we can hire a person that will be focused on housing, but as is not confirmed yet. But that's the idea as well, to support with housing, that we know two main things are housing and employment.
Absolutely, thank you. And if you had an ask of all these 37 people sitting in this room watching you, listening, how could we help your organization more? What could we do? If we're just generally people in the community that want to know how we can help, how could we help you?
I think I have talked about the conversation program, that if they want to join as a volunteer, I think for the conversation program will be good, because we'll need more volunteers in that area. For now, I think it's the only thing that I can think of, but as we organize the other stuff, the housing, I think probably we need more, we will have more concrete ideas how we can support as well. And basically what the person in housing will do is that there are many people who are offering a bedroom, for example, in the house. But one of the concerns that we have is safety. If somebody is going to live there, who is checking that it's safe for the person to stay there, especially if it's a woman. And the person is going to do that some police check, going to the place to make sure that it's safe for the person to move in. Just to mention one of the things that the person will be doing. I mean, when there is an apartment, then it's not a problem. But when there is a unit that they will share with somebody, the person basically will do that, and also will check with what is available to see what the resources are in the region.
Thank you, Anna. I had a question for you, I guess, your organization. We are, as Ukrainian buddies, we are recommending your organization and also the regional YMCA immigrant services as, you know, the 2 points of contact. And then there's like 2 questions in one. So whether there is an existing organization for Cambridge that we can recommend, and also what is the division of responsibilities between your organization and the YMCA Immigrant Services? How do you divide the scope, and how should we route the newcomers to each organization? If you can explain a little bit.
Sure. I mean, Cambridge is YMCA. We don't have a branch over there. Will be directed to YMCA in Cambridge. And regarding the two organizations, basically we provide the same services. If somebody from YMCA will be here, will be similar services regarding settlement and employment. But each organization has differences. For example, they don't have the stock program. We have the stock program, but they have other program for youth. I think you can refer to any organization. There is no difference in that. We'll work together, and this is also what the person that we are hiring for next week also will do it. She will go for both organizations, not just for us. That's something also unique as well.
That's great, and like you said, the jobs should be kind of shared between them, and that's great.
Right. That's right.
And the last question I had was about, you know, as Ukrainian buddies, we talk to a lot of people who are either in Ukraine still or in, you know, stuck in Europe. So outside of Canada, some of them are still getting their visas and that kind of stuff. So I guess we will continue doing that, because from what I hear, for your organizations to step in, it's necessary that the person is physically in Canada, right?
That's right. That's right.
And so, yeah, I think that's great, because then we can, as Ukrainian buddies, we can focus on, you know, external contacts, and then we can feed them into your system.
When they come here, we are able to support. Exactly. You will be the connector as well.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so. Oh, where'd my screen go? There you go. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming today and talking with us. I think it was been, you know, extremely helpful. And again, it's our end goal is not to duplicate our services, and our end goal is also to making sure that when people know they need to donate, they want to provide products, services, time, energy, or resources, that they can be funneling these resources to your organization, because you are helping the displaced Ukrainians coming in. Because again, we don't have a bank account, and we're not holding any money. So if people do in the community want to donate or volunteer, that, you know, going to your organization is a very important feature in our community.
That's right. And the idea is to work together, no? To collaborate to each other.
Yes, correct.
And then, the person that we are hiring next week, she also will attend all the meetings that she will be informed, and also bring in new information needed as well. Okay.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay. I just need to leave.
Yes. Okay. Take care.
Have a nice weekend, and happy Mother's Day as well.
You too.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
Anna, I see you're here. Do you want to provide an update for resources? You're muted.
Could I follow up for 1 second? I think it was
yes, Courtney, go ahead.
About the difference between YMCA and Kw Multicultural Center. I didn't say when Anna was here, but my understanding is that YMCA does English. When you have to decide what English level you have, there's a YMCA does that kind of like testing. So
the assessment.
Perfect. There you're there. Yes. Yeah. So YMCA does the English assessment.
That's right.
And so that's the one.
That's correct. That is something that we don't do it. They have the language assessment, and based on the language assessment is that they will suggest the person to attend which school have a space, but also the level of English that they need, but also there is, if there is childcare, for example, available as well. No, but they are the ones who are doing that one.
Yeah, and I would say Kw Multicultural Center, in my history, has been very great about translation services and filling out forms and stuff. Like that's where I often send people to Kw Multicultural Center. For those things particularly. So I would say there are some differences, but I agree that they're both amazing.
I mean, the main pillars.
Yeah, use them both.
Yes.
Yeah,
but there is difference.
Yeah, definitely use both. I agree. Yeah,
we complement each other.
Great, thank you so much. Anna, do you want to provide an update for resources?
Well, I think I heard some parts of what Claudia was providing. We have been working together. So I'm sorry, I was connecting from a phone and that didn't really work. We're continuing to collect information on, again, where we could send families and what are the jobs that are available, and coordinating that. And I've been in great conversations with the housing and with donations and with our tech team. So I think resources are working as intended. We're always happy with more people who are willing to help with collection of information. Go ahead,
Do
Steph.
you want an update regarding the new mental health document that was just created by one of our kind of volunteer community members, or?
There are several mental health documents, actually. They're all linked out to a resource doc that is available to Ukrainian buddies. There are several pieces to that. So one is that there are several free services, counseling services, group services that are available for English speakers. The bottleneck is that my understanding is there aren't enough translators, even if, and Annalise, please jump in, but my sense is with translation, it might be quite a wait if we want, let's say, to send someone for therapy sessions and attach a translator to that might be a wait, and it will be a huge load if we send every second family for a therapy with a translator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see, because for example, Horizon, they have a program that is called Promise for Partnership, but it's specifically for refugees. And I think it will be a good idea I will have a conversation with them to see how they are planning to support. No, probably they will do some group sessions, because some topics can be addressed in a group session, and then depends on the situation, they will see the person needs a specific support. No, and that's the idea, to train more people. This is what is happening in the training. Fast track training in May and June, to have more interpreters available as well. I mean,
Yeah.
ideally counseling is not the best to interpreter, but if it's the resource that we have, we need to use it. No?
Absolutely. So, and that's the second document, or third document that we have all linked out, or if it's not all properly linked out, I'll double check that it's all there. We have now information on counselor psychotherapists who do provide services in Ukrainian language. Unfortunately, we don't have many, and I haven't been in luck of finding local practitioners. Many do provide services online, so that definitely saves us a little bit of trouble in terms of having to travel. So we can thank pandemic for that. We now have most therapists can offer online services. When it comes to children and services for them, again, it's pretty limited in terms of what's available in Ukrainian or Russian language. We know that many families speak either or both when it comes to kids. So it widens a little bit the choice, but it's still pretty narrow in terms of where we can send them. Those documents are linked to the resource doc, and we'll continue to update. And I just want to thank everyone who's been collecting this data. It's been a hard work on every step of that document, and it continues to be. Yesterday, there was another information released by College of Psychologists that they're now collecting the number of practitioners who will be offering services in Ukrainian to Ukrainian Canadians. So that will cover another gap, right? And we're just, again, collecting that information and hoping to be able to send people to appropriate resources when they need those.
And are those services provided free of charge, or is there a charge associated with that? Do you know?
So it depends, right? Many are free. I would say the most practitioners who speak the language are willing to provide pro bono services. The problem is that we just don't have enough practitioners who can offer those services in the first language. When it comes to English providers, I would say there are enough English-based resources that it could be free of charge.
And does that all equally apply to host families who may be in need of such services?
We are working on it. Thank you so much. We are definitely working on organizing something, and I'll connect with Lisa about that. I have some leads, so it's in the making. Thank you for asking that. I really appreciate you coming forward with that question, because I think it's highly needed, and that's definitely what I'm hearing from clinicians as well. So some support will be available. I don't know to what extent, but I would agree it's highly needed.
Okay.
Stay tuned with the updates from housing and other teams, please. We're working
Anna,
hard.
so I also want to jump in that we're all of these resources are all collected from the community, and not all of the resources are collected from our volunteers. Some of them were collected from the general community, understanding and realizing that we need to better understand some of the resources out there. And so they've taken on themselves to create whole documents. And then they give us these documents, and then we work with our translation team to actually translate it into Ukrainian, so that, you know, it's accessible to the Ukrainians when they're coming in. So if there is any information that you believe that we should be distributing, like for example, someone messaged on Facebook saying, how do we get around if we don't have a car in Waterloo region? And, you know, that evening or the day later, another volunteer put together a 3-page document of how to get around Waterloo region by transit or by bike. And then we got it translated the next day. So it was, you know, if we do feel that there needs to be an asset or needs to be a new resource, feel free to start researching and pulling together and throw it at us, because we'll use it. Great. Okay, so we're already behind schedule. So is there anything anyone wants to say here? Now we're going to be moving into we're going to say goodbye to the community meeting and then move into some of our team meetings. But if there's anything anyone wants to say before you say goodbye, you're welcome. And you can say anything. You can say ideas of what you think we should be doing. You could say something, an idea or suggestion. If you're a new volunteer and you haven't really been integrated into the team and you want to know more, please stay after this, and we'll have someone just generally here to chat with you and figure out how we can welcome you more into the team. I saw that someone said, what is Slack? You know, Slack is a program for us to communicate. And again, you can stay afterwards and we'll explain what Slack is and how you can get more involved in that. We do have a volunteer that specifically focuses on Slack, and he can send you an email and walk you through the whole process of how to get you onto this program. That's basic Messenger that you just kind of chat with each other.
I just wanted to say thanks for everything that you've done, because I'm expecting my guest a week tomorrow, and I'm terrified because I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. So I was just wondering, is there like a list that I could follow? Because you guys sound like you have a lot of resources. Is there a list, or am I making up that list as I go? Because I hear about social insurance, OHIP and stuff, but I have no clue where to start. So is there a list that you've made about?
Linda, have you visited our website?
I have. It's overwhelming. There's so much information.
So there's a document on the front page when you go there, and it says resources. It'll say resources for the first 3 months, the first 6 months. And then we also have a housing team. That's where Lisa's putting, don't forget about me. If you go to the website and you click on the button that says get involved, there's a button that says housing or provide housing. Join the housing buddies, or fill out that form.
I did.
Even if you were already matched.
Yeah.
You did fill the form?
I did. Yeah, I did that.
Fill the form. Okay. But then you're still feeling a bit overwhelmed with the process. You still feel you need some extra support. Don't worry, anyone would be overwhelmed with this process. And so different families need different support and options. And Lisa can jump in, and maybe Lisa, you and Linda could chat in a separate room or something. Or if anyone else here that's being a host and wants to chat.
We could talk later. I'm not sure if you want to just jump in the housing room as well tonight, Linda. If you filled out the form, I apologize. I haven't reached out personally yet, but yeah, for sure. I'm available tonight. I also see Anna put her email in there as resources. She has a lot of access to documents as well. So whatever you'd like. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look through and then I'll just know at least who to ask questions of. Okay, thank you.
Okay. There are some practical tips on the Facebook website as well, Linda. If you want to have a look at it, it's you know, it might be very useful for you.
Great, thanks. Anyone else? Rick, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for letting me join tonight. It sounds like I'll be taking my leave now. Just to let you know that I'm doing a special contract as the Ukraine liaison worker for Mennonite Central Committee,
Oh, yeah, don't leave.
Ontario.
Any churches or organizations, you're here for the partnership meeting. Don't leave.
Okay,
We're going to move into that room afterwards. Yes,
I was not clear. I was not clear either from the written communication or what you said just now about what you're thinking.
Yes,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Any churches that were invited or anyone that's heard about this, we're looking to continue exploring this opportunity to work together and learn from each other. Okay, so anyone else looking to?
I'll stay on.
Okay, good. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I'm just want to say I'm so impressed by what you guys have put together in the Waterloo region. It's certainly what's happening well pales by comparison. And I thank you for inviting us, and I thank you for starting the Facebook page for people in Guelph. I must admit I haven't had a lot of time to spend on it, and I'm actually new to Facebook. I joined Facebook just so I could access that page, but I will continue to visit there, and certainly as St. Andrews, and we're partnered with Two Rivers Church, and I'm convinced we'll have Knox Church with us by the time their session meets early next week. And we've moved forward. We have people here. We have housing arranged. We've done a lot of the stuff that you've talked about on a smaller scale. But we're open to partnerships with other Guelph-based organizations and individuals, and the whole thing will develop as it goes along. So, thanks a lot.
Yeah, and Rick, if you want to stay, you can still stay, and you're welcome to join the partnership meeting to explore how we're kind of working through identifying partners. What we're hoping to do is working with churches and religious institutions, understanding where their strengths are and where they're coming from and their experiences with working with refugees in the past. Understanding how private sponsorship worked with them, what type of things they're available to help with, and then trying to figure out utilizing this new complex process that the Ukrainians are coming into Waterloo region and into Canada, where are the gaps and problems that aren't going to be addressed by YMCA and immigration services. How do you build that sense of community and belonging? Because as we know, the privately sponsored refugees typically have a much higher success rate than publicly sponsored refugees, up to about 80% success in churches versus I think it's like 40% or something in publicly sponsored programs. And so when we look at the Ukrainians that are coming into Canada now, there's no sponsorship. There's even less than the publicly sponsored sponsorship because they get no consistent house. There's no consistent communication. There's no outreach. There's no support or anything. You know, Ukrainian can come into Canada, feel that they have a housing solution, get to the person's house, and a week later they can be kicked out. And then they have no resource outside of now, where do they go? Do they even know about the YMCA? Do they even know the 911 number? Like, you know, now, like there's no support. And the host family is offering these people the homes. They don't have the support networks that they need to actually support these Ukrainian families as well. So how do we build up some of the stuff that's the experience of the wealth experience from churches for privately sponsored groups to mimic that as a whole community-led initiative. Anyways, Bob, you want to say something? And we can move this into partnerships, but I just want to say that's the type of thing we're going to be looking at exploring now for short and long-term support for the Ukrainians. Go ahead, Bob. You can talk now, or you can talk in the partnerships meeting.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I Friday night with 2 hours notice just didn't work for me. Something else on involving other people. Now, have you been in touch with the Ukrainian parishes? Because I have started a contact with one of them. Have you met with them?
Yes, we're working very closely with St. Sophia's
Excellent.
Orthodox Church. Yes, absolutely. Marta's here. I think Marta was here. Michael is here from there. And so, yeah, we work with several of the people from St. Sophia's. We've met with their council. We've chatted with them. Yeah, we're very connected with them.
Excellent. Okay, because the one contact I've started is with Miroslav Schmansky, I believe. And I have a phone number for him, and he's at the parish just up King Street, not far from where I live. Because language is critical and religion being very important in Ukrainian society, it's a key link. So you've done that. So good.
Yes, no, yes. The fathers, yes, absolutely. We're heavily connected with them. Absolutely. Okay, so we're now going to jump off. We're going to say goodbye to everyone here. If you're a person that, let's say, yes, I want to get involved, great. There's a form on our website that says get involved and you can volunteer. Jenny, an amazing volunteer lead, as well as the other teams that are working with her, volunteers work with her, phenomenal. They'll hop right back in and connect with you. We have probably about 8 different teams with 3 to 15 volunteers actively on a daily basis volunteering. So it's close to 50 to 60 people that are volunteering on a daily basis, or every other day, and then another 150 or so that are off in the wings doing random things each week on a weekly basis. So we'd love to be able to work with you. You have an idea, you have a passion, come on board. We'd love to have you. Okay. Everyone else in partnerships, or if you're in housing, if you want to talk with Lisa and your housing, if you're here with any other teams and you think you want to chat in a breakout room, we can create one. So if you're a volunteer, a partner, or someone who wants to partner with us, please stay. Everyone else, goodbye.